Welcome back. It's cold out here. You enjoying it?
Enjoying what?
For you guys that were with us 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and we brought this 79 Dodge Magnum home. You guys just lit up the scoreboard. And what I mean is, I got messages, private messages. You big block guys just really came out and came around. You answered some questions without me even asking, underneath the hood, pointing out things. You guys even provided me a history lesson on it. I'm a Mopar guy. I know they made these 2 years. I didn't know the history behind it for NASCAR and all that history. I didn't know that Marty Robbins, as much as I had known him as the singing of ballad cowboy songs, he sat behind the wheel of one of these and raced it. Richard Petty, you guys said his quotes were he didn't think the car handled at 190 mile an hour very well. That was his professional opinion. When I get this to 190 mile an hour, I'll give you my unprofessional opinion. A guy can't even think about it if he doesn't know what he has. I don't know if it's a solid cam. I don't know if it's got adjustable rockers. I don't know anything about it. I'm gonna pop a valve cover off. I want to see what I have, even if it is cold in winter and I can't feel my fingers. That carburetor there goes to drag truck. It's sitting there covered in snow with no carburetor on it. Got a couple of things I'm going to try. Probably won't work. Bought one of these here. I'll put it on the backwards way. I'm going to shorten up this 17 feet of fuel line holes here. They got draped all over the ignition and over the exhaust, and holy cow, that feels like plastic. It's so hard. I got some PVC holes. I'm going to try to get that back inside there so it's just not sucking out there. And so I pulled this off. It's a spread bore intake, and they used one of those Edelbrock gasket things in there to adapters. And we got the carburetor back on drag truck. It'll be happy now. So I added a 1/2 inch spacer. Get this off the intake a little bit and give me a little bit more height over my coil. And I bypassed their fuel pressure gauge, and I went straight off the fuel pressure regulator and straight up here to the back. And this is loose. This is kind of loose, so it looks like it's pulling tight, but it's not. I eliminated all this holes and that glass filter, and I ran those glass filters and never had a problem, but they got a reputation of burning cars down. This old Holly here is a one I pieced together years back, and it seems to run good no matter what I put it on, so I kind of use it for a standby on situations like this. It's a get her going type of carb. I know the carb will run it good, so it doesn't matter if it's a 318 or 383. I just use that carb to get things going. I hook this up, and I know that this should be on the driver's side, but it's better than it flopping in the back like it was. Well, no leaks over here. Little standby carburetor is serving its purpose again. I've got a little bit of that fuel system there cleaned up. Get some heat in the motor. It's running good. Well, the motor is warm. I thought it would be a good time to pop a valve cover off. Kind of works like a hand warmer. Ain't doing nothing for my feet. I have not taken this off yet. You guys are going to see it firsthand with me. Try and do this with one hand. But I want you to see it as I see it. See what we see. There we go. Well, we don't have adjustable rockers. Looks pretty factory to me. Trying to see if I can see a number down in there. I can't see it any better than you can. So I'd say she's a hydraulic flat tappet cam. Although those valve springs look like at some point they might have been replaced because the retainers are a little bit smaller than the springs than what the factory would have probably used. See that? That probably got some good springs on it with the cam they put in. Who knows? With my flashlight I read 2843906. Looks like a set of 906 heads. Got that all zipped back up. You big block guys must have another joint there in your forearm to get at that back one back here. It's kind of trapped by the exhaust manifold and the power brake booster, but we got it. On my way home, the oil pressure gauge was going all over the place. It pegged 40, dropped down to 5, up to 45, down to 10. It was all over the place. I thought I'd hook up my oil pressure gauge and see what it read, and it's doing the exact same thing. I can almost guarantee it has nothing to do with the oil filter. I'm going to go ahead and put one on anyway, just because it's what I can try at this very moment. So I put the new oil filter on it, just in case for some unknown and ever unheard of reason that straightens it out, but I'm not keeping my fingers crossed on that. Anyways, we'll start it up and see what she does. And sometimes it'll shoot up to 30 or 40. And I think that's where my lifter clatter and ticking is coming from, is I think that sometimes it doesn't have sufficient oil pressure to the top of the engine. So, on the way home, if you remember me talking about in my last video about the lifters clattering, that's why we shut her down. Well, see, the oil pressure gauge was doing that too. So with the two of them, I thought I'd be safe, and I'm glad I did. I probably saved what is most likely a decent engine. I hooked up my oil pressure here, oil pressure gauge, in place of the one that's in the car, and it did the exact same thing. When she gets below 10, then you start hearing the lifter noise. I have no idea what would make oil pressure go up and down like that. If you have any clue, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. I'll be happy to read about them, but we're in winter here. I can't do a whole lot with it anyway, and this pretty much ends the running it and messing around with it like that, because I'm not going to run it until I got stable oil pressure, regardless of what that means. So I know the oil pump is on the outside. I could try replacing that. I'm not sure an oil pump would work or not work. Pressure relief, maybe? Spring acting up? I don't know. Let me know if you have any thoughts. So, until next time.
Goodbye, Brutus.